Derrell Peel, our livestock marketing specialist, is here now. And Derrell, let's talk about profit potential for cow-calf producers in 2017. How are things looking this year?
You know, I think there's some decent potential for profits in 2017. We've been through an awful lot the last few years, but these markets are at a level, and I think the prices this fall will be, at a level from that standpoint that would offer some profit potential for producers. We've got to watch. The profit equation has two sides to it. So there's revenue and there's cost, and we really have to worry about both sides of that a little bit. But in general, even on the cost side, we're getting some favorable feed prices. In general are pretty good. We've got lots of supplemental feed out there. I think forage availability and prices will be good. Fuel costs have moderated a little bit. So all of those things, I think with a little bit of management, producers have some decent potential for profits.
And speaking of management, what are some specific things that people can do to help boost that potential?
Well, again, profit has two sides, revenue and cost. And so we worry a lot about market price on the revenue side. And obviously we've got input costs, but all of those market price things are things that we really don't have much control over. So, we have to put our attention on the things we can control. On the cost side, obviously, we're going to try to manage our input uses in order to achieve a certain level of productivity. And on the revenue side, it's not just market price, it's how much do we have to sell. And so how many calves do we actually have available at weaning time to sell? And I think that's where a lot of our potential to boost profitability comes from in terms of managing that.
And there has to be a wealth of information out there that producers can access to kind of gauge what might work for their individual operations and their own strategy?
Well, that's right. We use a number of measures of productivity to try to give us some guidance. So, if you go to the end and think about what I have to sell, so you look at that weaning percentage, for example, how many calves do I actually have to sell relative to the number of cows that started with the bull a year ago? And that's an overall kind of measure of success. Is that at a level it needs to be? Is it changing over time? And more importantly, we can take that weaning percentage and work backwards to kind of decompose that into various aspects of the operation. So if we back up one stage and think about calving percentage, for example, how many live calves did we get on the ground relative to the number of cows out with the bull last year? The difference between those two is calf death loss. And so what's going on there? Is that at a number that's acceptable? Is it changing over time? Could be an indication of some disease issues that we're not aware of that's causing calf mortality. Could be issues like predators and other things that may offer some potential if we identify those things. If we back up from calving percentage to the number of cows pregnant the fall before, first of all, if we're not doing preg-checking and all that, we really don't know whether we're getting the job done. Pregnancy percentage is a good overall measure of the reproductive performance of the herd. And so it could be an indication on the bull side. Are the bulls getting the job done? Are we testing them with breeding soundness exams to know they're working? Or on the cow side in terms of body condition score and overall nutritional performance that allows those cows to be pregnant and to be pregnant in a timely way. So it's are they pregnant? Are they getting pregnant quickly? That could also be an indication of disease issues, for example. So we want to monitor whether that's changing over time.
To me, it underscores the importance of record keeping, right?
You've got to have that information. In order to manage, you have to maintain that information. And then you have to sort of judge whether or not they're at acceptable levels. Are they changing? I think sometimes we just sort of accept what happens and not really think about what are the management opportunities that we have once we identify specific places, maybe where there's some weakness in those numbers or they're not at levels that we really are happy with.
And then there are resources available through Extension to help people through this.
There's lots of resources available, lots of information. First of all, just to kind of compare yourself. What is acceptable? So there's information out there about sort of what are the industry norms for these things. And then obviously if you identify specific areas that need some additional work, whether it's on the reproductive side, on the animal disease side, on the nutritional side, there's lots of resources available to help out with that.
Terrific. Derrell, thanks a lot. We'll see you again soon. And for a link to some of those resources that Derrell just talked about, go to sunup.okstate.edu.